Good day everyone. My name is Edmel C. Bauzon, taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. Today, I will going to discuss the assigned topic to me, which is the personality development, its introduction, components of personality, and structures of personality. I will going to start by providing everyone the learning objectives of my report. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to develop a deeper self-understanding of personality development, identify the components of personality, and comprehend the structures of personality. So, these are the terms that we will encounter throughout my report. The first one is personality. It is the combination of characteristics or qualities that form an individual's distinctive character. Next is development. It is the process in which someone or something grows or changes and becomes more advanced. Trait. It is a quality that makes one person or thing different from one another. Environment. The natural world as a whole or in a particular geographical area, especially as affected by human activity. Self-awareness. Conscious knowledge of one's own characters, feelings, behaviors, motives, and desires. Persona. The particular type of character that a person seems to have and that is often different from their real or private character. And lastly, behavior. The way in which one acts or conducts oneself, especially toward others. Every individual has its own characteristic way of behaving, responding to emotions, perceiving things, and looking at the world. How we behave in our day-to-day lives reflects our personality. It is our personality which makes us unique and different from everyone. Effectively, our personalities make us who we are, a key part of every single one of us. And this is where personality development begins. Personality development therefore means an improvement in all spheres of an individual's life. It is fostering self-awareness and self-esteem by bringing out the best in others. Our personalities are one of the most distinguishable characteristics we exhibit. There are many different variations in our personalities. There is no single personality that is ideal. It means that no two persons have the same personality. Even twins brought up in the same environment have different personalities. Unlike what many people believe, it is not static. It can be consciously developed or changed. As we move through the stages of life, we acquire unique characteristics through interactions in the environment. But how exactly do we become who we are today? And what plays the most important role in the formation of personality? In order to know the answer, please stay put and listen as I discuss that matter. Personality is a dynamic and organized set of characteristics possessed by a person that uniquely influences their environment, cognitions, emotions, motivations, and behaviors in various situations. The word personality originates from the Latin word persona, which means mask, that is associated with Greek theater in ancient times. When the Greeks performed on stage, they held masks over their faces to portray specific emotions such as anger, fear, sadness, joy, and depression. While we tend to think of a mask as being worn to conceal one's identity, the theatrical mask was originally used to either represent or project a specific personality trait of a character. As is stated by Larsen and David Buss, personality is a stable, organized collection of psychological traits and mechanisms in the human being that influences his or her interactions and modifications to the psychological, social, and physical environment surrounding them. Your personality is something that you always take with you. It affects your thinking, feelings, and behaviors, where and with whom you are, in any situation at any time. Your personality helps you to survive and deal with the daily challenges surrounding you. In a sense, your personality is in part not only in psychological but also in physiological. Personality is made up of properties and mechanisms. It can be divided into different components and characteristics. Over time, many different classifications have been made in personality characteristics. Let's read handwords. Personality development encompasses the dynamic construction and deconstruction of integrative characteristics that distinguish an individual in terms of interpersonal behavioral traits. It is a process of developing and enhancing one's personality and assessing their skills and qualities, considering their aims in life and setting goals in order to realize and maximize their potential, as well as to gain self-confidence and high self-esteem. Personality development can be understood to awareness of self, self-knowledge, building self-identity and self-esteem, spiritual development, talent development, identifying potential, acceptance of responsibility for self, enhancing the quality of life, improving physical and mental health, aspiration fulfillment, and improving social abilities. So, it means that a good personality is all about projecting a positive image of yourself to the world. The following are the components of personality: the physical traits, hereditary traits, environmental traits, emotional traits, mental traits, cultural traits, and socialization traits. So, let us start with the physical traits. Physical traits consist of human color, weight, physical beauty, spoken words, and his voice. It is the mode of dressing, manner of walking, posture, body build, health complexion, and facial expression. Physical appearance affects the personal development of individuals. For example, babies learn about the world as they develop their physical senses of sight, touch, smell, sound, and taste. While during adolescence, young people go through many changes as they move into physical maturity. The second one is the heredity traits. The child receives general attitudes, fundamental aptitudes, emotions, intelligence, working capacity, nervous system, image, and internal tendency from the very beginning of his life through heredity. Personality is affected by heredity because it involves all physiological and psychological traits that are passed from both parents to their children through genes. Moreover, heredity plays an important role in determining and differentiating men's and women's personalities. This helps to determine how a person reacts to situations and how well he or she gets along with others. The third one is environmental traits. The environment makes a more effective effect on human personality. The physical or natural environment cannot be neglected, establishing an effect on human personality. We can say that, yes, the environment has a noteworthy impact on personality development. It is a very strong constituent of personality. Wide variety of environmental conditions can create wide variety of personality patterns. Even studies on twins also shows that rearing twins in different environment result certain changes in personality patterns. Some findings shows that the abnormal environmental conditions can strongly develop abnormal behavioral patterns. The types of environment are as follows. The first one is family environment. Family values play an important part in the upbringing of child. It is regarded as one of the most important sources of influence on the personality of an individual. Relations between parents and children are cohesive in such families, and there is greater scope of socialization. The ability of the parents to create favorable environments, especially social and psychological, affects the child's personality development. If families are high conflict and the children are drawn into many arguments and disagreements, they are much more likely to have a personality that is conflict-driven as they grow older. The next type of environment is neighboring environment. Different kinds of neighborhoods give very different experiences to individuals. Calm, quiet, and cultured neighborhoods have calming effects on individuals' personality. The quality of the neighborhood in which a child grown up has a significant impact on the number of problem behaviors he or she display during teenage years. Children who grow up seeing behaviors such as fighting, stealing, and destroying property will continue to disruptive and exhibit problems into adolescence. The next type of environment is friendly environment. Friendship has both positive and negative influence depending on the type of friendship attracted. Friendships are particularly important as they begin to rely on friendships for social support and a source for self-exploration. Friends persuade the way people act from what they say or do. On one hand, friends can lift spirits positively, but on the other, they can destroy self-esteem. Either way, they have an impact on day-to-day life, affecting the people around them. Friends can put pressure on people to do certain things, good or bad. The next type of environment is the school environment. The school is not only the place to acquire knowledge but also give children an opportunity to grow themselves and develop a broader outlook in life. School shapes the kids to a greater extent. The environment and exposure they get in school directly affect their future. They learn to adjust between a group of people, interact with them, which in various situations, and prepare them for the real world. The fourth component of personality is the emotional traits. There, we feel great effects of emotional traits on human personality. Besides this, human external behavior and intersection glands make a great effect on emotional traits. It is a real fact that a melodious, laughing, and courageous man infuse his effect on others very soon, but the man having nervous sentiments cannot make usual effect on others. The rate of emotional development in children and young people can vary from person to person. Some children may show a high level of emotional skill development, while quite young, whereas others take longer to develop the capacity to manage their emotions well into adolescence. The next one is the mental traits. Human mental traits consist of intellect, imagination, logic power, directness, decision power, and remembrance in them. Among them, intellect is more important of all. Thus, the intellect is used at every stage through wisdom. As an individual grows and develops, mental development supports the growth of their cognitive abilities. In spite of a general pattern of mental development, each individual grows and develops in his own unique manner. During adolescence, children begin thinking about what they want to do when they go out on their own. Next, we have cultural traits. Culture is a group of purification of human life. These purifications are received from ancestors and continue from generation to generation. All the races infuse their purification from one generation to the other. Purifications play their important role in making human personality. On the other hand, psychologist Jung has accepted the more important qualities received from radial qualities or the ancestors in the collective unknown heart. The beliefs and practices affect the personality. Children learn different traditions, norms, and values which determine the differentiation in personality of people belonging to different cultures. The last component of personality is the socialization traits. Society is the main base of making an effect on human personality. Man should be very social because due to socialization, human personality gets affected. The images that society portrays on what is or is not right have affected everyone in some way. It can either build you up or take you down. Let us now move on to the structures of personality. The first one is the id. It is the source of all psychic energy, making it the primary structure of personality. It is also the only structure of personality that is present from birth. It consists of all the inherited components of personality, including sex or life, instinct or the eros, and the aggressive or death, instinct or what we call thanatos. For example, Ellie was hungry. Rather than waiting for her order, she reached across the table and ate from Mr. Bernardo's plate. So we can say from the given example that id is driven by the pleasure principle, which strives for immediate gratification of all desires, wants, and needs. If these needs are not satisfied immediately, the result is a state of anxiety or tension. The id remains infantile in its function throughout a person's life and does not change with time or experience, as it is not touched with the external world. The next one is the ego. Ego develops from the id and ensures that the impulses of the id can be expressed in a manner acceptable in the real world. Like the id, the ego seeks pleasure, but unlike the id, the ego is concerned with devising a realistic strategy to obtain pleasure. It functions in the conscious, preconscious, and unconscious mind. It is also responsible for dealing with reality, as well as operates based on the reality principle, which strives to satisfy the id's desire in realistic and socially appropriate ways. Take for example, Ellie was hungry. However, she knew that her order would come soon, so she waited until then to get her foods, even though she really wanted to eat from Mr. Bernardo's plate. So we can say that ego recognizes that other people have needs and wants too, and being selfish is not good in the long run. The last structures of personality is the superego. Superego begins at around age 5. It holds the internalized moral standards and ideals that we acquire from our parents and society. It also provides guidelines for making judgments. The superego is the moral compass of the personality, upholding a sense of right and wrong. For example, you are walking down the street and is hungry. When you see a burger in a table, you do nothing. It is because superego tells you that someone owns that burger, and it is not acceptable to take something that is not yours. The superego has two parts, the conscience and the ego ideal. Conscience includes information about things that are viewed as bad by parents and society. These behaviors are often forbidden and lead to bad consequences, punishments, or feelings of guilt and remorse. So it means that conscience forbids unacceptable behaviors and punishes with feelings of guilt when a person does something they shouldn't. The second one is the ego ideal. It includes the rules and standards for behaviors that the ego aspires to. If the standards of the ego ideal are too high, the person will feel like a failure and experience guilt. When talking about the id, the ego, and the superego, it is important to remember that these are not three separate entities with clearly defined boundaries. These aspects are dynamic and always interacting to influence an individual's overall personality and behavior. The three elements work together to create complex human behaviors. Each of them adds its own unique contribution to personality and interact in ways that have a powerful influence on an individual. Personality development is a stepwise process that helps individuals develop and gain confidence and high self-esteem. Through personality development, we get to know who we really are, what our true values are, and where we would like to go in life. It also grooms and helps us make a mark of our own to stand apart from the rest, as well as improves our chances of achieving our goals in life. It is essential for every individual to develop not only the outer but also the inner self. Focusing on our personality development adds to our capabilities and helps our dreams and aspirations turn into reality. That's all. I hope you have learned something from my report. Thank you for listening and God bless.